Good afternoon, student. Ninth Standard Social Science, unit-7, State and Society in Medieval India from the Choharas to Mughal Emperor. Lesson continuation. Students, so far we discussed about mm, introduction and major political changes in India during the medieval period. Political changes: North India, advent of the Islam, Alauddin Khilji, Muhammad bin Tughlaq, the Chola Empire in south, Rajaraja and Rajendra first, and Vijayanagar Empire, the founder of the Vijayanagar Empire, Harihara and Bukka, number of dynasty in Vijayanagar Empire, the Mughals rule in India, arrival of the Europeans, impact on polity, that is Chola, Vijayanagar Empire, Mughal Empire, and advent of the Europeans in Indian politics. Now see society. Caste is the most distinctive aspect of Indian society. We first need to understand two dimensions of the term caste in Indian society. First, the fourfold division of society as specified in the religious text referred to as Varna. Our religious text, Vedic text, refer Varna system. The particularly latter Vedic text. Improving the status of the Jadi was a major preoccupation for all caste group. In traditional society, many castes were denied various social rights and privileges in the society. Religion: diverse institutions with different ideologies came up within the Bhakti movement during the medieval period. Religious leaders like Vidyarnya, Saivat movement came up like the Tamil Saiva Siddhanta, Veera Saiva in Karnataka. In Maharashtra, the tradition of the devotee of Vidobha arose in the 14th century. Buddhism had faded out in India. Jainism also lost ground in most part of India due to the emergency of Bhakti movement and Sankara and Ramanuja, that is, revival of Hinduism. With regard to Christianity, there were a small number of Christian groups in Kerala claiming their origin to the time of Saint Thomas, the disciple of Jesus. But Christianity took root when the Portuguese arrived in Kerala and set themselves in Goa. In the north, a new religion, Sikhism, was founded by Guru Nanak, who lived during the 15th century. Foreign religions also came to India when Jews and Zoroastrians migrated to India. Culture: the Chola period was an era of remarkable cultural activity. These were the centuries when major literary works were written. The best known classical poet, Kamban, wrote Ramayana in Tamil, which was formally presented in the temple at Srirangam. Sekidar Periyapuranam similarly was present in the temple of Chidambaram. Among the other great work of the period is Kalingathu Parani and Moovarula. The monumental architecture of the Chola is visible in the great temple of Tanjavur, Gangaikonda Cholapuram and Darasurams. Bronze image of great beauty and artistry were made by the lost wax process. The best known of them is iconic representation of Shiva as a Nadraja performing the cosmic dance. The Mughal period particularly is a brilliant epoch in the cultural history of the India. They left behind numerous monuments in addition to constructing entire city like Shah Jahan Bath, Delhi, and Padepur Sikri Garden, Mosque, and a fort. The art of painting also flourished in the Mughal period. A large volume of literature was produced, especially in Persian language and also in Urdu, Hindi, and other regional language. In the performing arts like Hindustani, the name of Tansen, the great singer or musician, is well known, indicating the patronage extended to classical music and Akbar. In South India, the Vijayanagar ruler and their military chiefs actively support art and architecture and to build number of temple. The indirectly the intercatally called lofty tower of Gobram at the entrance to temples were all added during the Vijayanagar period. The great commentary of the Silappadigaram and Tirukural were also written during this period. Telugu literature flourished under royal support. A new style of Tamil literature called Brabandham emerged during the Vijayanagar period. Agriculture. India was predominantly an agricultural country, and a very large proportion of the population lived in rural area and depend on agriculture for their livelihood. Both in the northern and the south, agriculture depend heavily in irrigation. Canals and well add to the water sources in addition to rainfall and rivers. The biggest network of the canal known in India was built in 14th century by Feroz Shah Tughlaq in the Delhi area. Cultivators were also encouraged to dig wells. Lift irrigation was used to draw the water. In the north, the Persian wheel was used for lifting the water from well. In the Tamil region, the Chola had created a network of canal for irrigation, connecting the tributary of river Kaveri, lake, and a tank also add to the water sources. Important feature of Indian agriculture was the large number of crops that were cultivated. Peasants in India were more knowledgeable about many crops as compared to peasants in most of the world at the time. A variety of food grains like wheat, rice, and millet were grown apart from the pulses and millets. Many other commercial crops were also grown in such as sugarcane, cotton, and indigo. And also, the people had to know for in South India had a regional specialization in pepper, cinnamon, spices, and coconut. Mice and tobacco were the two new crop which were introduced after the arrival of Europeans. Many new variety of fruit or horticulture crops like papaya, pineapple, guava, and cashew nut were also introduced, which came from the West, that is, Western countries, especially from America. Potatoes, chilies, and tomatoes also became an integral part of Indian food. Non-agricultural product. Up to the end of the 17th century, India was one of the largest manufacturing countries in the world, though the economy was primarily agriculture. The most of the people depend agriculture activities as the main occupation. Non-agricultural production referred to both proceeded agricultural product and craft productions. Metalwork, precious gems and jewelry, shipbuilding, ornamental wood and leather work, and many other minor products. The organization of production basically depends on the nature of the market for which it was produced. Craftsmen generally work on individually or family basis for their home or workshop. The large manufacturing unit employing many craftsmen were set up under the Mughal state. Textile. Nearly all the cloth that were produced was of cotton, though silk weaving had developed in Bengal, where silk was produced, and in Gujarat. Dye and printed or patterned cloth involved the uses of vegetable dyes. India had two natural advantages in cotton weaving. The first was the cotton grew in almost all part of India, so the basic raw material was easily available because India is a suitable country for cotton cultivation. Second, the technology of producing the permanent color and cotton using vegetable dyes was known for early time in India. Indigo was the most important dye crop that was grown in India, but other dye crop like were also grown in India. In addition, a range of colors were produced by using flowers and fruits and product like a turmeric in various combinations. Commerce. The large manufacturing sector essentially produced goods for exchange and not for self use. The village was the basic geographical unit of production and was essentially as a substance economy, and barter was a medium of exchange. That is a barter system the people were to use to exchange the goods or commodities. Big cities were usually major commercial center with bazaars and a shop. In addition to such a overland trade, smaller ship and boat were used in coastal trade along both the western and eastern coast of the country, that is Bay of Bengal seashore and Arabian seashore. Finally, the major port of Surat, Masulipatinam, Calicut, etc. were the nodal point in the international or maritime trade. Maritime trade across the Indian Ocean, extending from China in the east to Africa in the west, had flourished for many centuries. In the 17th century, Surat in Gujarat, Masulipatinam in Kolkanda Kingdom, Chittagong in Bengal, Pulicat and Nagapattinam and the Coromandel coast, and Calicut in Kerala were all major ports in Aztec trade. India was also major export of textile, pepper, precious and uh, semi-precious gems, especially diamond, which were then found only in India, and iron and steel, which were greatly in demand in the entire Asian region. The major import from China and the East were silk, Chinese ceramic, gold, spices, aromatic woods, and chamber. Silk, drugs, dyewood, and sugar were the main import from Prussia, while gold, ivory, and slaves were brought in from the East Africa. Nearly the textile accounted for nearly 90% of the total export from India. Urbanization. The travelers coming to India in the medieval period noted that were a number of urban centers of various size in various places throughout India. The urban population was probably quite small as proportion of the total population. The large cities were center of manufacturing and marketing, banking and financial service. They were usually located at the intersection of the extensive network of roads. In South India, especially the Tamil region, urbanization went hand in hand with the temples. The temples were large economic enterprises requiring the variety of goods and service to function. The devotees coming to worship at the temple need many service and goods, so that temple town also became marketing center in South India. Conclusion. The medieval period, covering more than 700 years of Indian history, was a time when momentous change took place in the political landscape, which also transformed the social and economic fabric of the country. The event of happening during Europe during the period Holy Roman Empire and Emperor Charlemagne, King John and Great, Magna Carta. Recap. Major political change commencing from the establishment of Muslim rule in Delhi are dealt with. The enterprising period of Chora and significance of Vijayanagar Empire in the south are analyzed. The economy and the society during the Sultanate and Mughal are highlighted. Occupational caste and conflict between right and left hand caste are explained. Progress in art, literature, and music are discussed. Condition of agriculture, trade, commerce, and urbanization are examined. The lesson is over. Thank you, student. Please follow the assignment given in the PDF form. Please prepare well for quarterly examination.